Shirley Chisholm took a stand against what people took for granted by making a serious bid for the presidency in 1972, and being the first African American woman to do this. She also fought for people's rights. During this time period, the civil rights movement was happening. In the short term, Shirley Chisholm helped found many organizations that helped the poor and the minorities, such as SEEK, the Search for Education, Elevation, and Knowledge. In the long term, she inspired many women around the world to run for president and work in politics.
I stand before you today as a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States of America.
The 1970s were a time of change. Women were not allowed to have the same jobs as men, and black people were supposed to live in entirely separate neighborhoods from white people. No African American woman had ever run for president, although the civil rights movement was happening. Only the men worked in politics and did all of the official work. Women would stay home and take care of the children. The voting age had just changed from 21 to 18, so more people were voting. Also, the Vietnam War was going on, and Shirley Chisholm was against the war. Women faced issues like unequal pay, gender discrimination, and limited job choices.
Shirley Chisholm was born in Brooklyn, New York, but lived in Barbados as a child and received a strict British education. She had struggled to find a job in 1946. When she did, she taught at the Mount Calvary Child Care Center. And when she was teaching, she got involved with the local New York Democratic Party, the League of Women Voters, and the 17th Assembly District Democratic Club. Chisholm strongly believed in equal rights for women, especially in the workforce.
After college, Shirley Chisholm found her love for politics, which inspired her to become a congresswoman. She got elected to the New York State Assembly in 1964 when she was 40 years old. She was also the first African American woman to be part of the United States Congress and got elected in 1968. Chisholm founded, co-founded, and was part of many organizations such as SEEK, House Agricultural Committee, Labor Committee, Unity Democratic Club, and National Organization for Women.
College students especially liked Shirley Chisholm because they related to her the most. She said she was willing to face the obstacles in her way and to lead the country because she understood. She understood how the people felt because she had also felt that way. Shirley Chisholm was asked what changes she would make in the White House, and she answered, "It won't be the White House any longer." She stood up for minorities in society and wasn't afraid to speak her mind.
I was an undergraduate at a small women's college, a small women's liberal arts college called Cedar Crest College in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And it was probably 1968 or 1969. I can't remember exactly. But Shirley Chisholm came and spoke to an assembly at the school. And she talked about her experiences in government and being a woman. And I, at the end of the talk, during the question and answer period, I raised my hand and I asked her a question. And what I asked her was, had she experienced more discrimination in government by being black, from being black or from being a woman? And she didn't hesitate at all. She said unequivocally, for being a woman.
Shirley Chisholm hired only women for her staff. She wanted to hire women and only women to show that they could work just as well as men. I decided my staff would be composed of young women for the most part, from the receptionist to my top assistants. Capitol Hill offices swarm with intelligent Washington-wise, college-trained, and attractive young women who do the most of the work that makes congressmen look good, but often get substandard pay for it. The procedure in my office I decided would be different. I have never regretted it. Shirley Chisholm. However, other people had no doubt that she would lose. U.S. Representative Shirley Chisholm of New York is a woman, and she is black, and she doesn't stand a chance of winning the Democratic presidential primary in Florida next Tuesday, a journalist said. Although people were starting to recognize her as a serious candidate and politician, her running for president wasn't completely safe. Chisholm survived 3 assassination attempts during her campaign. People didn't like her ideas or the idea of her running.
Shirley Chisholm was frustrated that people thought that her running for president was symbolic and not serious. She wanted to be considered a real, viable candidate. When she announced her candidacy, she said, "I am not the candidate of Black America, although I am Black and proud. I am not the candidate for the women's movement of this country, although I am a woman and I am equally proud of that. I am the candidate of the people of America." However, some people had a different view. Walter Cronkite offended her during the news by saying a new hat, rather a bonnet, was tossed into the presidential race today when announcing her candidacy.
Give me your help at this hour. Join me in an effort to reshape our society and regain control of our destiny as we go down the Chisholm Trail for 1972.
Shirley Chisholm got 151 of the votes, or 3.5%, and ended in 7th place. Chisholm did not win the campaign in 1972, perhaps because although people liked her ideas and what she stood for, they didn't want to vote for her because she was a woman and she was Black. However, Chisholm said that she did not view this as a defeat. She said that her running in the first place was the victory.
In the short term, she hired many women to work with her, and this made more women have jobs and be inspired to work in politics. Also, that changed many people's views about women. She left others surprised by being the first African American woman to run for president and get a seat on the United States Congress. Even though she did not win, she inspired many other people with her actions and later left politics in 1983.
It was also just beginning to be feminism wasn't even something I knew about or we talked about, but we were certainly aware that there were not a lot of women in government, at any level of government. And so it was really special having her come and speak to us, because she was a hero, someone for us to look up to and aspire to.
Shirley Chisholm died in 2005 at the age of 80. She showed many others that women could have jobs that people thought only men could have.
In the long term, Shirley Chisholm inspired many women and Black people to be a part of politics. Kamaya Davis, age 22, works for a congressional committee. She says, "Chisholm paved the way for me to be able to set foot on Capitol Hill." Shirley Chisholm was known for her career and tireless work to help women and their equality. She did many things that people thought only men could do, including jobs like running for president and being a member of Congress. Chisholm believed in equal rights for women and Black people, and she worked hard to try to make them equal. November 30th is now Shirley Chisholm Day, and there is even a stamp made in honor of her. Shirley Chisholm had a great significance in history. She was the first African American woman to run for president, and she got very far into the campaign even though she did not win. She also became a congresswoman at a time when not that many jobs like that were open to women or Black people. No other woman had ever tried to do what she did, like being in the presidential campaign. She accomplished a lot and inspired many people. You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. Shirley Chisholm.